Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome study lovers, I am Sufian Ahmed and today I'm going to discuss about the chapter that is life process. Now what does life process means? Here you can see the definition that all the process which are necessary to maintain life in an organisms are called life process, like the heartbeat, then the respirations. If this process are not happening in our body, then we cannot survive. These are the basic examples. So like to maintain those life process, we need to have nutritions, transportations, then respiration, and obviously excretions. Now what does nutrition means? Nutrition means the mode of intake of food, and here food I mean about nutrients. Now what are those nutrients in the foods? The nutrients are carbohydrate, C-A-R-B-O-H-Y-D-R-A-T-E, carbohydrate. Then come protein. Okay, protein also involved in the food, and along with that fats. These are the nutrients. Along with that they also have vitamins, also minerals. But here you can see that carbohydrate, protein and fats, these three components, what I'm talking about, these three components, these are very essential for our body because they provide energy, because these three components provide energy in our body. Okay, and vitamins and minerals, these are also very much essential. They are known as vital amines. They are also very much essential for our body. Now coming to the nutritions, now I'm only talking about nutrition. Step by step I will proceed to the excretions. So nutrition, there are two modes of nutrition. One is known as autotrophic mode of nutrition, another one is known as heterotrophic mode of nutritions. So coming to the nutritions, one is autotrophic, another one is heterotrophic. So here A-U-T-O, auto, T-R-O-P-H-I-C, autotrophic mode of nutritions. Then here I will discuss about heterotrophic, H-E-T-E-R-O, hetero, T-R-O-P-H-I-C, heterotrophic mode of nutritions. Now what does here auto means? Auto means self. Okay, auto here means self, and trophic means food synthesis. Food synthesis, S-Y-N-T-H-E-S-I-S. Here trophic means food synthesis. Okay, here hetero means different and trophic means food synthesis. Now autotrophic, here I will discuss only about the plants, how green plants prepare their own food. Here we will see. Now to see this autotrophic mode of nutrition in details, first of all I need to rub all those, so please stay a while. Now if I talk an example of autotrophic nutritions, then it will be green plants. Okay, along with that blue-green algae, now here I will only talk about the green plants, how the green plants prepare its own food with the help of photosynthesis. This one I will talk here. Photosynthesis in plants, heterotrophic mode of nutrition I will talk later on. Here photo means light, okay, and synthesis means food preparations. Photo means light and synthesis means food preparations. Now just have a look at how green plants prepare its own food. Suppose this is a plant, okay, and here is the leaf are there, and here is the light, I mean sunlight. Okay, so what happens, these plants take the sunlight with the help of chlorophyll pigment present in the leaf, and it takes water with the help of roots, H2O. Here through sunlight it's craving sunlight with the help of chlorophyll pigment, and from the roots it's craving water, and from the surrounding it is absorbing what? Carbon dioxide, CO2. So with the help of water and carbon dioxide in the presence of light, this plant is preparing its food. Now what it will prepare? Food. Now food I can say here as C6H12O6, right? So how this process is happening over there? So if I write the chemical reaction of this photosynthesis, just have a look. Before that, I must explain that whenever this plant is grabbing sunlight towards it, this sunlight is being converted into chemical energy, okay? And after this light is being converted into chemical energy, it breaks this water molecule H2O into H2 and O2, okay? So this hydrogen and oxygen, it is being divided, both are oxygen is being removed from the plants because plants cannot absorb those oxygens. Our oxygens are being removed and we are absorbing those oxygens. So what happened after that, this hydrogen and carbon dioxide, they mix up and produce its own food. Just have a look. So here it will involve like CO2 plus H2, it will remain and oxygens will be removed. So in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, CHLORO chloro PHY chlorophyll, it is preparing its own food like C6H12O6 and oxygen is being removed, isn't it? So this is the chemical reaction. Now if you want to balance this chemical reaction, then you can write over here 6 and 6 and here also 6. This chemical reaction will be balanced, but it is not necessary for the time being. Now what are the steps are being involved in photosynthesis? Let us discuss in detail. The steps involved in photosynthesis are that light energy will be converted into chemical energy. I mean absorbed light, okay? ABSORBS, absorbed light, LIGHT. Absorbed light will be converted into chemical energy. Absorbed light gets converted, okay? Gets converted, CONVERTED, converted into chemical energy. Chemical energy. The second steps here involved is that chemical energy will breaks the water molecule. So chemical energy breaks water molecule, molecule into water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen, okay? And the third steps involved here, I will say reduction process. Why? Because addition of hydrogen is known as reduction process, and at the same time the removal of oxygen is also known as the reduction process, okay? Reduction process. Because what happened in the third step, as I already explained in the reaction, that this hydrogen will be added with the carbon dioxide. So the addition of hydrogen is known as reduction process, okay? So after adding this hydrogen with the carbon dioxide, they will prepare its own food like C6H12O6, clear? So how the chemical reaction involved here, just have a look. Here the chemical reaction will involve like H2 and it will take carbon dioxide and it will prepare its own food, C6H12O6. So here is the steps of the photosynthesis are finished. Talking about heterotrophic mode of nutrition, there are three mode of nutrition. One is known as saprophytic, SAPROPHYTIC, saprophytic. Another one is known as parasitic, PARASITIC, parasitic. Another one is known as holozoic mode of nutrition, HOLOZOIC, holozoic mode of nutrition. Alright, so coming to the saprophytic mode of nutrition, what is this? This is actually all those plants which are developing from the dead decaying particles, okay, like fungi, mushroom. So these are known as saprophytic mode of nutrition from dead decaying, okay, DEAD, dead decaying, DECAYING, from dead decaying particles these organisms are being developed. So for examples like fungi, okay. Coming to the parasitic mode of nutrition, there are certain plants and on those plants there are vines are exist, and those vines are grasping the nutrient from that plants, okay, from which plant they are absorbing the nutrients, that plant is known as host. Likewise in our body also, those whenever this mosquito or insect lies down in our body and grasping the blood or sucking the blood, So they are also parasitic. They are depend on us, isn't it? So there is a perfect example of parasitic mode of nutrition in Nil Bagan. You can see in Model Higher Secondary there is a there is a banyan tree, and above that banyan tree, okay, there is a banyan tree, and above that banyan tree, very beautifully, a dates tree is also developed. You know dates tree? See, this dates tree is above this banyan tree, and this dates tree is not directly absorbing the nutrients from the soil, isn't it? What happens? This banyan tree is absorbing the nutrient from the soil or from the surrounding, and from that plant only he is absorbing the nutrients. And before that I have given example of the plant which through which you can see different vines are being developed. Okay, such type of vines are there in the plant, so they are absorbing nutrients from that plant, so they are known as parasitic plants. Perfect example is also known as algae plus lichen. So that one you will get in your higher study. So if I give an example of parasitic mode of nutrition is Cuscuta or C-U-S-C-U-T-A Cuscuta or Plasmodium, P-L-A-S-M-O-D-I-U-M. Plasmodium is also a perfect example of parasitic mode of nutrition. Now coming to the holozoic mode of nutrition. Holozoic mode of nutrition, this is just to have a look on we people that we are giving the nutrients and we are absorbing it and distributing to the whole body. So you can take an example of human being, okay, man, then dogs, animals, then perfect example is also an amobia, A-M-O-E-B-A, amobia. This is a very interesting character, you know. The shape is rough type, this one, nucleus exists there, and whenever the food comes here, so they will develop their podia, P-S-E-U-D-O-C-D-P-O-D-I-A. So they will develop the pseudopodia at the front of it, and it will start grasping this food inside their body, and after having the food it will distribute in the whole body. So this is the function of amobia. Okay, I'm not going to the details of this amobia. You can have a look on your book, and from the pictures you can quite easily understand about the amobia. Now coming to the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, so let us go to the human digestive system, how the digestion process starts in our body. So let's have a look on. So now just have a look on the human digestive system. What happens whenever we take food in our mouth, from that process only, from that time only the digestion process gets started. Now what does digestion means? Digestion means the breakdown of food particles into simpler components. Okay, so digestion doesn't mean that it is absorbing by the body. It is just means that the breakdown of foods. Just understand this one only from now onwards. Now to break the food, first of all we need to understand about the teeth. The front teeth are known as incisor, and the cone type structure of the teeth which lies at the corner, they are known as canine. Incisor cuts the food and canine tears the food. Okay, and after the canine there lies some teeth which grinds the food, isn't it? They are known as molar teeth. Okay, so that help in the breakdown of the food. So inside the mouth there exists salivary gland. Okay, salivary gland release saliva, and inside the saliva there exists salivary amylase. Salivary amylase, what is the function of salivary amylase whenever the food enters to the mouth? So salivary amylase converts carbohydrate. Okay, salivary amylase convert carbohydrate, C-A-R-B-O, carbo, A-Y-D-R-A-T-S, carbohydrates into glucose, G-L-U-C-O-S-E-D. Okay, carbohydrate convert, salivary amylase convert the carbohydrate in the food into glucose. And after that the food comes through the esophagus, and through the esophagus the food moves in such a stylish form, you know. Whenever the food comes here, it will pump there and it will go down, and at the down portion it will pump and it will go down. So such type of movement, okay, the movement goes like this only. So such type of movement are known as peristalsis movement. What kind of movement? Peristalsis, P-E-R-I-S-T-A-L-S-I-S, peristalsis movement. So the food enter the mouth, okay, and after that salivary gland release saliva, and inside the saliva there exists salivary amylase. Salivary amylase convert the carbohydrate into glucose, and after that the food comes to the esophagus, and in the esophagus the food moves in a peristalsis form, and it comes to the stomach, and after coming to the stomach it's help in breakdown of those foods. Okay, and it comes to the, after that it goes to the small intestine. It looks like that this pipe is being attached with the large intestine. It doesn't mean that it's being attached with the small intestine. First of all, the food coming from the stomach, it will go to the small intestine. So in the small intestine, what happen? Okay, so just have a look. Suppose this is a small intestine. Okay, so in the small intestine, what happen? This stomach will release pepsin, and in the stomach there exists a what called gastric gland. Okay, in the stomach there exists a gastric gland. I'm talking about stomach. So gastric, gastric glands. So what happens? These gastric glands release three kinds of chemical. One is known as pepsin, is being already here, pepsin. Another one is known as HCl. This is very harmful gas. So just such a harmful hydrochloric acid, this such type of gas are being produced in a stomach. So this is very much harmful for our body. So to protect this HCl, another one is being released by the gastric gland, is known as mucus, MUCUS, mucus. So what happen? What is the function of this HCl? HCl make the food acidic. Okay, so that the pepsin can easily digest the food. So pepsin convert the protein into amino acid, protein, protein. Where this protein exists in the food. It convert the protein into amino acid. Okay, and HCl make the food acidic so that the pepsin can work very fluently. And after that, what is the function of mucus? Function of mucus. First of all, we need to understand what does mucus means. Mucus, you know, inside our nose, there are white type of some things are present. So these are known as mucus. So mucus are being present in the layer of the stomach. So mucus protect the stomach from such a harmful gas like HCl. Understood? Now, so I'm talking about that whenever this food come in the small intestine, so gastric glands will be released. Then from the liver, it will release bile juice and bile salt. Then from the pancreas, it will release trypsin and lipase. Okay, everything will be released in the small intestine. So what is the function of bile juice? Bile juice will convert the food into what called alkaline. Why? Just because food has become acidic by the HCl. Okay, alkaline, ALKALINE, alkaline. And what does alkaline means? Alkaline means base. So bile juice will convert the food into basic. And function of bile salt. Bile salt, what bile salt will do? Bile salt will break those fats into smaller portion. Those larger fats are being there with the food, isn't it? So those large fats will be broke down into smaller particles. So these things are being released here in the small intestine. Then what is the function of trypsin? Trypsin will also function as pepsin. Those are the same word, isn't it? So after here, pepsin will convert this protein into amino acids. Some foods are still left out. So this left out food will also converted into protein, converted into amino acid here. But and which will do that function? This pancreas. Here is the pancreas. Okay, pancreas will release trypsin. So trypsin will convert the remaining amount of protein into amino acid. Just try to understand, remaining amount of protein into amino acid. Next, coming to the lipase. Lipase comes from the word lipid. And what is the function of lipid? Lipid will convert the fats into fatty acid. Lipid will convert the fats, FATs, fats into FATTY, fatty acid, fatty acid. Clear? Lipid will convert the fats into fatty acid, but bile salt will convert those larger fats into smaller fats. So after coming to the small intestine, the digestion process gets started. Now, what are the things being present in the small intestine? Such type of structures are present, and those structures are known as villi. They are known as VILLI, villi. Now, there might be a question that why in the small intestine such finger-like structures are there? Why not the flat surface, isn't it? Just because if the surface area gets like this, if the one food come here, another food also can come here, another food also can come here. So just because to increase the surface area, that is why the small intestine is finger-like structure and they are known as villi. If it would have been in flat surface, then if the particles come here, then it will occupy the whole surface, isn't it? And above that food, another food cannot come. So that just because of that, it is finger-like structures. Now, how these finger-like structures absorb those food particles? Just because they have some capillaries over there. Okay, they have some capillaries over there. So those capillaries absorb the food. How they absorb? Just because they have hemoglobin. Okay, hemoglobin is known as respiratory enzymes. So with the help of hemoglobin, with the help of respiratory enzyme, they absorb the food particles. Clear? And hemoglobin hemoglobin distribute those food into our body. And one more thing here I want to mention is that this small intestine is known as the site of complete digestion, because the complete digestion or the complete absorption, okay, starts in the small intestine. So that is why small intestine is known as the site of complete digestion. And the length of this small intestine is approximately 5 meter. Okay, 5 meter, approximately 5 meter, the size of small intestine. And whenever the digestion process or the absorption process starts up there in the small intestine, it comes through this pipe and goes to this large intestine. And in the large intestine, what happens? Absorption of water starts, and the waste matter, it starts blocking up the pipe through this way and come out through the anus. Clear? So here only absorption of water starts, and remaining amount of water, or what you can say wastage, comes out through the anus. Next, the size of this large intestine is 1.5 meter. One more thing I want to mention here is that the animals, you know, like cows, they have this small intestine is a bit larger than us. Why? Just because they are having the grasses, and inside the grass there exists cellulose. So just because of that, they need to have, you know, larger enzymes. They need to take some long time for the digestions. That is why their small intestine is a bit longer than us. And coming to here, appendix. What is the function of appendix? You know, during the time of ancestors, like our grandfathers, okay, so they used to have this appendix just because they used to have raw foods or raw foods, and just because of that they need to have, you know, good enzymes, large enzymes. So earlier this appendix was function as a big enzyme, because our grandfathers or ancestors used to have raw materials, and day by day this appendix is degrading. Why? Or its function is being lessening. Why? Just because we are not having the raw food day by day. That is why it is degrading. So such a organ which is degrading day by day is known as vestigial organ. V-E-S-T-I-G-I-L, vestigial, V-E-S-T-I-G-L, vestigial organ. Okay, such a organ which is degrading day by day from our body is known as vestigial organ. Just remember the process of this human digestive system over there. Coming to the process of digestion, there are 5 processes in digestions. Okay, first one is ingestion, taking in food. First one is known as ingestion, take in food. Next come digestion. Digestion means, as I told you before, that the breakdown of foods is known as digestion. So what happen? Here the food is being converted. Those carbohydrate, C-A-R-B-O-H-Y, carbohydrate is being converted into glucose. Okay, protein is converted into amino acid, and then fat is converted into fatty acid. Okay, and coming to the absorptions, third. So absorption, whenever the digested food is being absorbed by the villi which are exist in small intestine, they are known as absorption. Okay, next, what does assimilation? Assimilation means whenever those digested food are being distributed to the body parts, different organs, they are known as, that process is known as assimilation. And ejection, you know, the removal of waste. Removal of waste is known as ejection. And here I stop my today's explanations, because this chapter is a bit large. In one video it is not possible to complete the whole explanations. In remaining part I will try to make a video as soon as possible. So all the best. If you like the video, then please hit the like button.